The following podcast is intended only for listeners who are intent on growing the business. Welcome to Innovate Marketing, where we are bringing you interviews with the brands, the influencers, and the nonprofits that are making waves and growing business. We are brought to you by mypodcast.media. MyPodcast.media produces high-quality podcasts that authentically connect you to your ideal audience. And now, I'd like to introduce you to your host for Innovate Marketing, Sherry Peak.
Welcome to Innovate Marketing. Today, our guest is Founder of Goodman Lantern, an award-winning content marketing agency specializing in content writing, strategy, design, motion graphic videos, and SEO. Please welcome Raj Goodman Anand. Welcome, Raj. How are you today?
I'm good, Sherry. Thank you for having me, and thanks for the lovely introduction.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, I'm excited to talk to you today. You've got some really good things I know that you're going to share with our audience today. And so let's just jump right into our conversation. So, Raj, can you tell me a little bit about Goodman Lantern and the story behind it?
Absolutely, Sherry. So Goodman Lantern is a team of content creators helping customers sell better and grow faster. We started this business in the back of my own need and my own experience. In the past, before this, I helped the company grow from 7 million to 40 million in revenue, back of good content and storytelling. And I thought, well, if this is working for one company in B2B, I'm sure the other companies, just like my previous organization. And so built this out, started building it 8 years back. And we are dedicated to grow our clients' business across multiple sectors, but using content marketing. And a big part of our business, I think we touched about before we started our conversation today, is my focus or our focus of the company to make it a more inclusive opportunity for women in marketing and technology. So much so that 80% of our staff today are women. And we hope that actually helps increase that ratio, make it more balanced in the technology and marketing world.
Why was that so important to you? Yeah, let's go there. Why was that so important to you? You know, in a day and age where women are have been educated and trained and trying to find their way into these spaces, why was that a personal mission of yours? Because it's pretty fluid throughout your content, throughout your marketing, your advertising, and your business mission and structure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had the pleasure to grow up in the Middle East and India. I saw firsthand how the kids I studied with, and they were like, out of 30, there were 10 women in technology or computer science, and only some of them actually made it through to technology. I then went to university and just saw 2 out of 100 were women, and almost none of them actually went into technology at all. And this is a constant theme I've been saying, and I'm like, okay, there comes a time and this has to stop. I also have a 2-year-old daughter, and I don't want her to come into a unfair economy, unfair system. And I feel that as a man, alongside all everybody else campaigning for it, I need to get into it to join this mission. And instead of just talking about it and then maybe it's just sort of donating money, I made it my mission in my company, make this our focal point as an organization.
I love that. So you're leading by example. And truly, we need people like you, Raj, on the forefront of these things to help open those doors and create spaces at tables to be more inclusive with women and other ethnicities and races as relates to diversity in skill as well. So let's move on and let's talk about SEO. So have you seen SEO tactics change over the past 5 years or so?
Yeah, great question there, Sherry. Thank you. So, well, SEO has been around for many years, but over the years, we've seen that it's got new names, new processes, new jargons. We have these funnels now. So, I mean, what I'll say is that the SEO market is certainly maturing, and it's certainly getting it has become a mainstream strategy, especially in B2B. I think B2B is where it really is at. And with SEO, uh, I mean, I can't discount the B2C market, but in B2B, I think the main strategy, especially amongst our customers who tend to be these, very large tech companies, I would say SEO is super important for them. The last 5 years, for example, the SEO has become one of the top areas where these companies would spend. Typically it would be low expenditure on the ads and the SEO, and really think about the strategy about how can you get more customers through SEO. Whether it's in the US, it's Europe, it's Asia Pacific, Africa, SEO has become mainstream, and it's because SEO is a gift that keeps giving. Once invested into SEO, building content, building strategies around it, it is something which, once invested properly and we see seeing results, you'll see, as the customers will always tell us, you'll see results for many years to come. And it's that opportunity why they want to invest more in SEO. And also because while I'd say it takes a bit of time to kind of take off, when it is taken off, it's predictable. You can predict the output or the opportunities you might get from SEO to your websites typically, and you can then build around a plan to keep growing that opportunity. So that's why we've seen SEO becoming a mainstream or a very important part, like a staple for most B2B organizations, at least the ones which we work with.
So, what does good SEO for web look like today?
I could probably talk about this for days on days to just kind of talk about the details of it. But I would say the most important part of a sound SEO is a plan. The most important part is plan this out, because it's, as I mentioned before, SEO is not something you can turn on today and see results tomorrow. It takes time, and that's why it's sort of, a lot of people will sort of give up after a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. But it's one of those things which if you plan it properly and you invest in it, you'll see results after. So what does it include? Typically, SEO would include sort of three things. One would be um, the technology, the technical SEO, which is to think about what can you do on your site, on your portfolio, uh, as it were, uh, to really make it sound fast and cohesive. So with that, what I mean is, for example, is your website fast enough? Are your pages loading within, under 2 seconds, for example? Are your images under 100 kilobytes, for example? And these numbers are constantly changing because as there are new launches of search engines like Google, there's a new parameter to kind of comply with. Um, then there is something called the on-page SEO, which basically means that are you making sure that the content you have on your site, whether it is the metadata on your site, which basically are descriptions of your website, right, to the structures of your pages are correct? Do you have things like all tags, which is basically every image should have a description? Do you have those? And then finally, one of the most important parts is links in. Are you getting enough people linking back to you? It's a bit like, the real life when people talk about you and say you're the champion, you're the best at SEO. Sherry's the best podcaster. And people say Sherry's the best podcaster, in the real world, Sherry is the best podcaster. Similarly, in the online web, the more people linking back is the same as kind of pointing towards somebody, that helps you increase your SEO juice. That means you get a better ranking. When you get all these three things right, um, alongside other stuff like incoming traffic, incoming, properly built structure of the website, you can get that massive uplift and higher rank on sites like Google.
Let's talk about AI. So, there are a lot of AI bots entering the market. that can write copy for everything from blogs, ad copy, and even email replies. What do you think of this technology?
I actually studied AI at the university. I did research in AI and I was on a PhD. I had to drop out early because I had to make some money to survive. Uh, but So yeah, so I've done a lot of research into machine learning, neural networks. I actually built algorithms myself. I've really done research papers on it. So I understand I would say fairly well. And I'm really impressed by what we're seeing today with the likes of OpenAI, ChatGPT, maybe Jasper and everybody else in the space. But I think, you know, when we were working on AI algorithms back in the day, we didn't have the computational power to actually run the AI properly. But now we have infinite power, as it were, in terms of like server space and stuff. So we can actually build impressive models, and hence we're seeing these awesome emails written, blogs written, for example. Now we've done extensive testing on these, and we have, obviously we got editors, writers, people working in the industry for many years. I think it's come to a point where a lot of the research part, a lot of the writing initial bits can be done by AI, but it still needs final checks. It still needs a lot of hand holding towards the end, because especially when it comes to SEO writing, you know, Google is smart enough to understand what's written by AI to some extent, and it can figure out what's generated by bots and what's done by real people. And if you write content all the time through AI, you realize that there's not always perfect. There are elements to make it better. In fact, every time we write any copy, we make sure it goes through a senior editor to make sure it's written properly. Most of our work, just FYI, is handwritten or done by real people, because we get very in-depth briefs from our customers. When I say in-depth briefs, is basically everything we do is to be complying with, you know, content style guides, for example. Understanding, having knowledge about the company's way of working, their services, their products, stuff which is not in the open or are available in Google. So that knowledge required, and then writing content in the back of that, still can't be done by AI. It still needs real people to be written and edited. Saying that, some copy which is generic enough can be written by AI, but it can be easily flagged by bots. There are bots out there which can use to figure out if the copy is written by AI or not. So in order to really make sure that a copy is written properly, you can use AI for it initially, but you need to spend, I would say, about 20% of your time to kind of make sure it's properly checked by editors, real people, and then put out there. Otherwise, there will be penalization for your ranking, and that won't be very good for your SEO.
On that note, how does AI impact the marketing world in the future? What do you think we'll see happen with that?
I mean, this we are in a space where things are about to change very rapidly. I mean, AI is becoming smarter, 2x smarter, like every few months, basically. Things are going to change rapidly. I don't even know if Google will be the only search engine which we're looking at. I mean, with Microsoft's involvement in OpenAI, we might see a very different world in the future. Saying that, content has been there for several years. I mean, even Napoleon used to write press releases for his war campaigns. So it's not going to go away tomorrow. We'll still need original copy. We'll still need a original take on stuff, which needs real human impact and real human thought process. That means that we need to make sure that we have to up our game constantly. I think just information which you can copy paste, or you can just generate AI to kind of write content for you, could not cut it. We'll have to make sure that we are literally different in the market, in our style, in our presence, way of thinking, and that's what's going to make us unique in our approach. So yeah, AI brings us more opportunities. It also brings us some more challenges as well. Because you have to think out of the box, stuff which AI cannot generate, for example.
And that's where Goldman Lantern comes in, right? That you could provide these services to help individuals up level their content marketing through your different services. And you have those available internationally, right? You have employees that are located in various areas that can offer these services to people looking for them.
Yeah, so we are on 5 continents. We service customers on 4 continents, and I think at the moment, I would say most corporate customers, while they are using AI for research, right content is still done by real people because there's just so much to be done from the point of view of unique propositions that it needs real people. So yeah, we do that all the time. Our target market tends to be people in the high tech industries like telecom, financial tech, fintech. We work with a lot of companies in SaaS, software innovation. That's the space we sit in, and we help our customers.
Now, Raj, if you could speak to the content marketers out there listening, what would you tell them is the most important place to focus their efforts on this year?
There's no doubt that AI is really interesting. I would say that we all should be watching the space, what's going on. But also, I would say to start thinking about um, the next generation of services and products. Um, I think if our initial service, for example, if a company's initial service was just writing simple copy, or just sort of mashing images together, then I don't think that's going to cut it anymore. It's time to up our game. That's one. Number two, technology is going to take a even more importance or precedence in the coming days, weeks, months, years. It's a bit like the Industrial Revolution, when imagine like factories or just sort of spaces doing handlooms, and then here comes the industries or the factories with machines, and it wiped away jobs in the hundreds of thousands, for example, and it replaced them with machine operators. It's happening again now. It's happening again to us, and it's now time for us to change that sort of elementary level skills with machines or AI and robots, and then we'll bring in people who understand how to operate them and to create them. So where's the opportunity for us marketeers? It is to kind of start thinking about how do you build, how do you become part of it? How do you use AI for the initial research, for example, and cut your research time, for example, becoming more efficient, and then using that time to think about unique propositions for our customers. I think that's where the opportunity lies. And the more we can think about AI, use AI, but still have our original style of writing, creating content, the more we can then have a unique play in the market and really help us to the next level.
Thank you for sharing that. That was some really good insight and advice. Raj, just before we wrap up our time here today, do you have any final thoughts you would like to leave with our listening audience?
I think one thing which I often talk about is about leaving a legacy. I think as individuals, this is my third company, by the way. I've built a company before, sold it before. I've been through that sort of whole loop as well. But I think one thing which is super important for marketeers or business owners, I guess anybody, is to leave a legacy. I think once we start thinking about the greater good, and leaving something behind us, the effort we put into it amplifies much more, but also it multiplies in effort as well. So, for example, my mission is to empower women in marketing technology. I invite all of your listeners to think about something like that as well. You have a mission which is beyond making money, because that really helps to elevate people and to give something back as well. On that similar note, we're actually launching a new tool called Humanify.ai, where we're using the power of AI and working with real editors, mainly women, and to make sure that everything was generated by AI is actually cross-checked by real editors with the industry experience, so that the content we write is actually the high level we're looking for to empower our customers. So I invite you to look at that tool as well. But overall, I just want to say, Sherry, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you for giving me a stage, and really appreciate you inviting me onto the podcast.
You're welcome, Raj, and we appreciate you coming on and sharing your expertise and your insight, and also leaving us with the charge of leaving a legacy. So thank you very much for coming on and being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That brings us to the close of this edition of Innovate Marketing. We're glad you tuned in. Innovate Marketing is brought to you by mypodcast.media. Mypodcast.media produces podcasts for brands, influencers, and nonprofits. Find us online at mypodcast.media. Your producer for Innovate Marketing is Beth Freed. Executive producer, Sean Neal. And your host is Sherry Peak. We'll see you next time. Be sure to tune in.